Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something simple. What if I told you that one small shift in your morning could completely 10x your productivity, your energy, and your life results, starting today? What if this habit didn't cost you a thing, yet had the power to change everything? Sounds dramatic? Maybe, but it's real, and I'm living proof of it. Just a few years ago, I was waking up tired, distracted, and honestly, already overwhelmed before the day even began. My goals were big, but my discipline, weak. Every day felt like I was playing catch up with life until one day I heard a quote, "Win the morning, win the day." That hit me. So I decided to make one change. Just one. I committed to this one powerful morning habit. And everything began to shift. Within weeks, I had more clarity. Within months, I was producing more, earning more, and finally feeling in control. That habit became my secret weapon, and today I want to give it to you. Before checking your phone, before the world gets noisy, sit in 5-10 minutes of silence, breathe deep, and visualize your goals as if they've already happened. See them, feel them, own them. There are 5 things to amplify this habit for 10x results. Number 1, silence is your superpower. Silence is not the absence of sound, it is the presence of awareness. In today's hyper-distracted world where most people wake up and immediately reach for their phones, the mind is hijacked before it has even had a chance to think for itself. But silence, intentional, deliberate, sacred silence, is a portal to power that few dare to enter. Ladies and gentlemen, understand this. Before the world makes a claim on your energy, you must first make a claim on your consciousness. True silence in the morning is not just quiet, it's a ritual, a training ground for your focus. In those few minutes of stillness, you confront yourself without distractions, without filters, without noise. You hear the internal dialogue you've been avoiding. You notice the tension in your breath, the tightness in your chest, the racing of thoughts. And in observing them, you begin to free yourself from them. Because clarity begins when noise ends. When you sit in silence, you give your nervous system a signal. We are safe, we are grounded, and we are in control. And this very act rewires your mind to handle the rest of the day with composure and strength. People underestimate silence because it looks like you're doing nothing. But in truth, you are doing the deepest work of all. You are resetting your internal operating system. You are strengthening your ability to pause before reacting, to breathe before panicking, and to observe before judging. Silence is where you meet your truest self, stripped of performance, away from the crowd. And this meeting, however brief, each morning, builds a foundation of self-trust. Because when you can sit in the present moment without needing to distract or escape, you've already done what 90% of people cannot. Silence trains discipline. It sharpens your intuition. It helps you hear the voice that whispers ideas, solutions, and next steps. Voices that are drowned out when the volume of the outside world is too loud. The greatest leaders, creators, and warriors across history have all had a relationship with silence. Whether through meditation, prayer, solitude, or mindful breathing, this sacred space was never wasted. In silence, the seed of your future is planted. You begin to visualize, to receive, to believe again. When you make silence your morning companion, you do something revolutionary. You take control before the day has a chance to take you. So instead of waking up and becoming a servant to the world's agenda, you become the author of your own. You rise not in reaction, but with intention. And from that place, your words carry weight, your steps have direction, and your energy becomes magnetic. Silence is not weakness, it is mastery. It is choosing to hear what matters, rather than everything that's loud. It is the first decision in your day that says, I am not at the mercy of life, I am its sculptor. And that is why silence is your superpower. Not because it makes the world quieter, but because it makes you clearer, calmer, and completely unstoppable. Number 2, visualize with emotion. Visualization alone is powerful, but visualization with emotion is life-changing. It's not enough to simply see your goals, you must feel them into existence. Ladies and gentlemen, your mind responds not just to images, but to the emotional energy you attach to those images. That's the real key. When you sit in your morning silence and visualize, don't just picture yourself succeeding. Experience it. Close your eyes and walk through the moment. Feel the texture of the room where your goal becomes reality. Hear the applause when your work is finally recognized. Feel your heart beating with excitement as the message arrives. The door opens. The opportunity lands in your hands. The mind is a simulator, and when you combine focused images with elevated emotions, joy, pride, love, gratitude, you trick the subconscious into believing that your success is already happening. This isn't magic. It's neuroscience. Your brain begins to rewire itself for the reality you're emotionally rehearsing every morning. It starts aligning your thoughts, decisions, and actions to move toward that vision. You stop self-sabotaging. You start noticing doors you once ignored. You respond differently because you've already felt what it's like to win. Emotion is what seals the vision into your nervous system. It's what gives the image weight and influence. Anyone can daydream, but it takes presence and intention to feel your future so clearly that it starts to change who you are in the present. Don't just see the car, feel the joy of driving it. Don't just imagine the business, feel the pride of impacting others. Don't just think about healing, feel the energy of being fully whole. You must raise your emotional state to match the frequency of the life you want, because that elevated emotion becomes your internal GPS. The body doesn't know the difference between a vividly imagined moment and a real one. When you visualize with emotion, you're not pretending, you're rehearsing. You're imprinting the mind with proof that your goals are possible. And repetition of this emotional rehearsal is how belief is built. You may not have the results yet, but if you can generate the feeling, you already hold the seed. The key is intensity and consistency. 10 minutes of deeply felt visualization each morning will do more for your life than hours of scattered action taken without clarity. It programs your reticular activating system, the filter in your brain that decides what to notice and what to ignore. Suddenly, you'll catch yourself making better choices, seeing hidden opportunities, attracting people and paths that feel lucky, but it won't be luck. It will be alignment, because the vision you fed your brain is now shaping your life from the inside out. Most people fail not because they lack talent, but because they lack a felt belief in the outcome. They can't see it, so they never reach for it. But when you visualize with emotion, you begin to belong in the world you're building. And once you belong in it emotionally, it's only a matter of time before you arrive physically. So every morning, don't just visualize, feel it. Smile as if it's already yours. Cry if it moves you. Breathe it in like oxygen. Your future is not far away. It's a frequency. And the more emotion you pour into your morning vision, the stronger the signal becomes. This is how you 10x your results. Not just by setting goals, but by emotionally living them before they've arrived. That's not just vision. That's creation. Number 3, consistency beats intensity. We live in a world that celebrates explosive effort, the big leap, the dramatic transformation, the overnight success. But the truth is, greatness is not built in one intense moment. It is built through small, repeated and disciplined actions, done consistently over time. Ladies and gentlemen, consistency beats intensity every single time. You don't need to meditate for an hour once a month. You need 10 focused minutes every single day. You don't need to work out for 3 hours one weekend. You need 20 minutes a day over the course of weeks. It's the power of repetition that rewires your brain, shapes your habits, and defines your identity. And when it comes to the one morning habit that will 10x your results, it's not about how intense your visualization is on day 1. It's about whether you keep showing up for it on day 10, day 30, day 90, even when motivation fades, even when results are not yet visible, because real transformation happens in the quiet moments when no one is watching and you still choose to do the work. The magic is not in intensity, it's in discipline. When you commit to small, consistent habits, you begin to reshape yourself as someone who starts and quits, and start seeing yourself as someone who follows through. And that shift in identity is what changes your future. As consistency builds momentum, and momentum is the invisible force that lifts you when motivation is gone. Each time you show up, even when it's inconvenient, even when it feels boring, even when you doubt the process, you're casting a vote for the person you want to become. It's not the size of the action that counts, it's the persistence. Think of water dripping on a rock. One drop means nothing, but over time, drop by drop, it carves a canyon. That's what your small morning habit is doing. It's carving strength, clarity, and power into your mindset. And here's the truth most people miss. Intensity is emotional, but consistency is spiritual. It doesn't rely on hype, it relies on alignment. It doesn't shout, it whispers. It says, I will not betray my future, even when it's inconvenient. And when you adopt that kind of mindset, your results stop being random. They become predictable, because you've built a system, small, repeatable actions that produce compound results. And the most beautiful part? Consistency doesn't demand perfection. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to return. If you fall off for a day, get back the next. If you miss a morning, don't miss the next one. The power is in the return. It's in the choice to keep showing up with humility and hunger, even on the hard days, especially on the hard days, because those are the days that define you. You will meet resistance, yes. Your mind will try to negotiate, yes. But the moment you realize that discipline is greater than mood, you become unstoppable. So stop chasing extreme changes and start embracing steady progress, because intensity will burn bright for a moment and fade. But consistency builds legacy. It creates the kind of foundation that nothing can shake. 10 minutes a day, every day. That's all it takes. And over time, you won't just see the change, you'll become it. That's how you 10x your results, not through bursts of effort, but through daily devotion to the person you know you're capable of becoming. Number 4, prime your inner world before facing the outer world. Before the notifications light up your screen, before the noise of the world barges into your mind, before opinions, demands, and distractions begin pulling you in every direction, there is a sacred moment in the morning where you get to choose how the rest of your day will unfold. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where your true power lies, in the ability to prime your inner world before facing the outer world. Most people wake up and immediately become reactive. They scroll through headlines, messages, social media feeds, and within seconds, their nervous system is hijacked. They absorb fear, comparison, urgency, and the agendas of everyone else. And without even realizing it, they've handed their energy away before the day has even begun. But the few who are awake in consciousness, those who choose to center themselves first, they live by a different code. They understand that you don't control the external chaos, but you do control how prepared you are to meet it. Your thoughts, your breath, your emotions, your focus. These are the tools you must sharpen before you step into the battlefield of daily life. Just like a warrior doesn't run into combat without armor, you must not enter the world without first grounding yourself in silence, clarity, and intention. And that is what it means to prime your inner world. It's not a luxury, it's a necessity. Whether it's 5 minutes of breath work, 10 minutes of visualization, or simply sitting in stillness and whispering to yourself, I am in control of my energy today. Those moments reprogram your system. They shift your frequency. They upgrade your internal software so that when the chaos arrives, and it always does, you're not shaken, you're rooted. You're responsive, not reactive. You're calm in storms that used to throw you off center. And this kind of emotional grounding isn't just a personal win. It transforms how you show up in your relationships, your career, your goals. People will feel it. You'll begin attracting clarity, respect, and aligned opportunities, not because the world changed, but because you did. When you prime your inner world, your outer world reflects it. Your mindset becomes your lens. If you begin your morning anxious, rushed, and fragmented, You will see everything through that distorted filter. But if you begin with stillness, focus, and self-awareness, your perception shifts, challenges shrink, creativity flows, solutions appear. Why? Because your energy is ordered, and the universe responds not to noise but to alignment. Most people try to fix their external problems without addressing the internal disconnection. But you cannot solve outer chaos with an unprepared mind. You don't need more hacks or apps. You need presence. You need alignment. You need to stop starting your day in reaction and start stepping into it with design. Every morning, you are handed the brush to paint the canvas of your day. Will you let others scribble on it first, or will you take 5 sacred minutes to color it with clarity, purpose, and peace? Your results, your attitude, your interactions, they are all downstream from how you prime your internal state. And the best part? This doesn't require years of training or complicated rituals, just a quiet moment with yourself. A breath, a vision, a reminder of who you are. And that alone can shift everything. So protect the first part of your day like it's sacred, because it is. Let your soul speak before the world speaks over it. And from that inner strength, go out and meet the world. Not as a victim of circumstance, but as a creator of impact. Prime your inner world, and your outer world won't just change, it will obey. Number 5, track the shifts. If you truly want to witness the invisible becoming visible, if you want proof that your small habits are creating massive change, then you must learn to track the shifts. Ladies and gentlemen, progress is not always loud, and transformation doesn't always arrive with a trumpet. Often, the greatest breakthroughs begin quietly. So subtly, in fact, that if you're not paying attention, you'll miss them. That's why journaling, even in its simplest form, becomes one of your most powerful morning rituals. Just one line a day can change everything. Write what you felt during your visualization. Capture the emotions that came up. Record the thoughts that arrived in stillness. And soon you'll begin to notice patterns. You'll see that the problems which used to trigger you no longer steal your peace. You'll realize that you're making sharper decisions, speaking with more confidence, staying grounded in situations that once overwhelmed you. But none of that becomes real in your mind unless you see it happening. We're wired to forget our wins, to normalize our growth, to overlook how far we've come. But when you track the shifts daily, consistently, you create a timeline of your transformation. It's like watching your inner evolution unfold on paper, and that evidence builds belief. It tells your subconscious, this is working, I am changing. And once belief kicks in, consistency becomes easier, resistance loses power, and results accelerate. You begin to trust the process, not because someone told you to, but because you can see the fruits growing from the seeds you've planted. And it doesn't have to be complex. Just take 60 seconds after your morning practice to write one thing you felt, noticed, or envisioned. Maybe you felt unusually calm. Maybe an idea for a solution popped into your mind. Maybe your body felt lighter, or your breathing deeper. These are not random. They are signs. Signs that the inner work is expanding your capacity, sharpening your awareness, elevating your energy. And when you have a record of these signs, something beautiful happens. You stop chasing motivation and start cultivating momentum. Because the mind is more likely to continue a habit when it has proof that the habit is working. That's what journaling gives you, proof. You don't just hope for change, you document its arrival. And over time, your journal becomes more than a habit log. It becomes a mirror, a place where you meet the version of yourself that's rising, awakening, stepping into strength. A place where you remember that the process may be slow, but it is never stagnant. It is always moving, always refining you. This is why tracking the shifts is so powerful. It keeps you from giving up too soon. It reminds you that even if the world hasn't applauded yet, you are already becoming something greater. It shows you that your energy is shifting before your circumstances catch up. Most people quit because they don't feel the change fast enough. But you You'll see it, you'll write it, you'll own it, and that record will become your motivation on the days when doubt creeps in. So start today. Just a line, a sentence, a feeling. Let your journal become the living document of your rise. One morning at a time, one shift at a time, and soon when you look back, you won't just see words, you'll see evidence of the new you. That's not just tracking, that's transformation. Ladies and gentlemen, if there is one truth you must carry with you after all of this, let it be this. Your mornings are sacred. How you begin is how you continue, and how you continue is how your life unfolds. Never again underestimate the power of just 10 minutes spent in silence, in vision, in clarity. That quiet time is not a pause from life, it is the preparation for it. You are not here to merely react to what the world throws at you. You are here to create, to lead, to rise. Not once, but daily. And that rise begins in the morning. Build a life where your peace isn't stolen by chaos. Where your focus is trained, your emotions are stable, and your direction is chosen, not guessed. Wake up with purpose. Sit with yourself before sitting with the world. Visualize not only what you want, but who you must become to receive it. And when you see that version of yourself in your mind, let your actions honor that vision. Because real change begins when your habits align with your future. Track your progress. Not because you need to prove anything to others, but to remind yourself that growth is always happening, even when it's quiet. Celebrate every inner victory. One less distraction, one more mindful breath, one step forward, it matters. You're not behind, you're becoming. Don't chase intensity, choose consistency. Every morning you show up for yourself is a silent revolution. You are becoming stronger, more centered, more unstoppable. You are rising above noise, excuses, and fear. You are rewiring your mind to believe again, to trust again, to act again. And now, let me leave you with a prayer, not just for today, but for every morning that follows. May your mornings be filled with clarity and calm. May your breath remind you that you are alive and full of potential. May your silence become a sanctuary of strength. May your vision become so vivid that no doubt can destroy it. May your habits build the foundation your future stands on. May your energy be protected, your path be clear, and your heart stay open. And above all, may you remember that everything you seek already exists within you, waiting to be awakened, one morning at a time. Go forth, not in fear, but in awareness, not in haste, but in presence. The world doesn't need a louder version of you, it needs a clearer one. And that clarity begins now.